All right, welcome back everybody. My name is Dustin, and in the last video, we started the Create Tile tool. We created the Tile Tool Manager, and we also added the ability to draw the tile around the mouse. And with that, we also added the ability to adjust the UVs of the current tile sprite that we're using the tile set display over here, okay? I left you guys with a small challenge to finish off the create function for the create tile tool and to see if you could actually start creating tiles in the current loaded scene. So we're going to go over that today, and we're also going to add in some panning and zooming capabilities for the TilemapDisplay, and we're going to adjust how we are drawing the tile map all together. See, currently we just have this small box that is based on our canvas size, our frame buffer, and our camera. Those are fixed currently. Well, we're going to want to adjust that so the frame buffer and the camera adjust based on the window size. However, we'll still have the same functionality. So that's the goal for today as well. First thing we're going to do is go over the create function. So let's do that now. Okay, so I started with nothing open because we're just going to open up files as we need them. So the first thing I want to do is go to the source editor and grab my tools, and I want to go to the CreateTileTool.cpp. And if we hit Control-KO, we can open up the .h file. We don't need that right now, so we can switch back. So we want to do this create function here. Now, if you guys were able to do that, leave a comment below and say, I got it working. Just let me know if you were able to do that little challenge. If not, no worries. We're going to go over that right now. Also, if you haven't done so already, please like and subscribe. It really helps keep me motivated to keep making more videos. I appreciate all of you, and let's see what we can do. Okay, so let's get to this create function. First thing I'm going to want to do is get the mouse coordinates. So we can just get those as a const auto value. So let's just say const auto reference, and we can just say mouse world coordinates. I need to know where we are in the world, and that's just get mouse coords, because we should already have this. All right, now that we have these world coords, we need to check to see if there's already a tile there. We don't want to place the tile, at least I don't want to overwrite tiles in my Tilemap editor. Other editors will just write over it, and that's fine. But I personally want to check to see if there's already a tile there at that layer. So you can add tiles in different layers. If there's no tile at that layer, we'll just let it go. So what all I want to do is go check if there is already a tile. Cool. If auto ID is equal to check for tile mouse world chords, and if ID is not equal to ENTT null. If the ID is not null, we're going to want to leave the function because we don't want to place a tile there, so just return. All right, so we can actually just get rid of all of this. Let's actually start separating this out because we're going to have the create function. I want to also have remove tile under the create. So let's go into our CreateTileTool.h file and let's create a private section. Private. And we're going to want to have the void create new tile, and we're going to have another one for remove tile. So void remove tile. Cool. So let's create these. Awesome. Let's go into those right now. So we have these two new functions, and we're going to be using these. So let's actually move this stuff into the create tile. Okay. Up here, create new tile. All right, so now if we got here, we want to create a new entity. So we can go entity, and we'll just call that tile. And it's going to say create entity. Cool. So we don't know what an entity is, so we need to add that in. Here we should know. It's not that we don't know what an entity is. We need to go using namespace Scion core ECS. That should help. Awesome. We want to remove that, sorry. So, and we can put our semicolon. Awesome. So now that we have our entity, we created an entity with the register that is currently valid in this particular situation. So for the scene that we currently have running, its registry just created this entity. So that entity should be only on this particular scene, okay? Now that we have our new tile entity, we want to add the necessary components. First, we will add the transform component, and we just want to get the transfer. All these components should already be held in the mouse tile. So the MP mouse tile should already have that. So we can go tile.add component, and we can say transform component MP mouse tile transform. Cool. Now that we have the transform component, we need to do the same thing and add the sprite component. So we want to go tile.add component, sprite component, MP mouse tile sprite. Cool. Now we don't need to call the generate, well, we shouldn't have to call the generate UVs on this because this should have already been done, and these UVs should have already been set for the mouse tile. So whenever we changed our mouse tile when we're making our changes to the UVs, this should already be set up for us. We shouldn't have to do that. It should already be set up for the tile set that we have active and the current UVs. That should already be set up for us. And down here, we're going to want to add another component, add component, and this is going to be a tile component. We're going to add that in right away. Okay. And what we need for the tile component is the entity ID. So, and all we need to do for that is static cast to a uint32t for the tile dot get entity. An entity is just an ID, right? So it doesn't matter. So we just get the actual underlying entity and add that in. But before we do that, in here, we need to do some checks. Now, we don't have a way to set these components yet, so we're just going to leave it somewhat for now. We want to be able to check to see if we have a collider, animation, or physics and set those up. So if MP mouse tile be collider, and then in here, we're going to say to do add collider component. And if it's a collider, we need to check to see if it's a circle as well, but we'll do that then. Then another one, if animation. So if MP mouse tile be animation. So the same thing. To do add animation component. We're not really interested in that right now. Like, we'll get to these components later, but right now we just want to see if we can create tiles. These different components for the tiles don't necessarily matter except for the transform and the sprite and the fact that it's a tile component, so we can filter it out later. And the last one is be physics to do add physics component. Cool. All right. Now that's really it, I believe. That's all we need to do. So let's try to test it out, see if we can actually create a tile. But before we do that, we need to go here into our create function and finish that off. So first thing I want to do is check to see if the mouse button left is pressed or just pressed. So we just say if mouse button just pressed, and we're going to say e mouse button left. We want to use the left mouse key, mouse button, and we can copy this line here, and then not just press this time. This one is just button pressed. Then we're going to want to come into here, and all we want to do is say create new tile. Cool. Then we're going to want to have an else if. Take this, go else, paste that in. And then else if we're going to want to remove tile. We'll go over the remove tile function after. Let's just see if we're creating a tile to the screen now. And if not, we'll fix it from there. So let's run it. Okay, so we want to get our assets, put them down here. We can move our tile set up here. I'm going to set that all up today as well, so we don't have to keep moving them around. And we can probably get rid of the IamGUI demo window. We don't really need it for anymore because we've already got stuff going. But this is actually a great resource. If you want to learn how something is done, you check out the code in the back end for this. It'll show you how to do everything. It's perfect. And we want to load a scene into our Tilemap Editor. Load a scene, so we have our scene loaded. Run the scene. Oh, we got an error. Let's see. Let's just see what that is. So we can, if it's a real problem, we might as well fix it now. So invalid key. Okay, that's good. And let's follow this. Call stack and render tilemap. Current registry. So we don't have a camera. All right, so the problem here is we're assuming that the registry is going to have a camera associated with it, but it doesn't necessarily have the camera. So we're going to have to make a change here. Instead of just sending in the registry, we could send in the camera with it, because the camera could be coming from somewhere else. And wherever we're using this, if the registry is what's holding on to the camera, we can just grab it at that point that we call the update function. So let's make a small change here. And let's go to, KO, cool. And let's add in a camera. For our render system, we can add in our camera. So let's go namespace, Scion rendering, class, camera 2D. And we could probably send that in here as well. And we probably don't need to add this here. So let's add that in as well. So we're using the sprite batch renderer, so let's go class sprite batch renderer. Cool. And we can remove this. Let's actually quickly put it in here because we're going to need it up here in our CPP file. So we'll put that right here. Cool. Let's go back. And now let's add in our camera. So we're going to want to send in the camera as a reference here. So we're going to go Scion core, Scion rendering camera 2D reference, and we'll just say camera. Okay, and we'll take this whole line here, go here, go to our update function. Okay, and we're going to want to just place this in. Cool. And we're going to get rid of this here. Anywhere that's a camera is no longer a pointer because we're sending it as a reference. We have to change. We don't need to dereference it here. Cool. So we're going to want to do the same thing that we did here to our other rendering systems as well. Okay. So let's take this camera and go to our other rendering systems. So go to our systems, now here in our core, and that's our source and systems, render UI system, render shape system. Let's add those in there as well. Control KO, whoops. And we'll add this in here. Go to our update, add it in here. Cool. Start making the fixes. We're going to need to forward declare that. We could probably forward declare both of those as well. So let's start doing that. Get rid of this. Let's go back to our render system because we already had this forward declaration. Let's copy this. Bring this over to the shape system. So we need the camera, we need the rect, and we need the circle. And we can remove these from here and put them in our CPP file. Is there anything with rendering already? Yep, both of these. So let's put that here. Cool. And did we do the UI system? Not yet. So let's go KO. And we want to, so this one already has, the UI has its own camera, so it doesn't need it done, okay? But we could do forward declarations in this, so we don't need to do this here. So we can go paste this, not this, sorry. Let's go back into our shape system, copy this, paste this here. That didn't work. Go back to the shape system, copy this, Control C, paste this in. We can get rid of that. And so this needs the text batch renderer, the sprite batch renderer, and the camera. And we can move all of these. And go KO. Put this in here. Cool. All right. Now let's just run it. We're going to have some things that are broken, but I'd rather find it by running it because the compiler will find all of our errors for us. Let's run it now. Nope. Redefinition of camera. Good. Let's go and fix all these issues that we find. What else do we got? Error list. Function does not take one argument. Yep, we know that. And that's the same as this here. We should have did this for all. So we'll paste those in. Any other errors? Scene display, same idea. This is going to need a camera. Ah, yes. So the scene display is different. So we're adding the camera in, right? So we need to grab it from the context here. We don't want to assume in the render system that it already has the camera in the registry. So we want to pass it in. So here, now I need to get the camera from the context because we're adding it into the runtime registry, okay? So here, now we need the camera. So we'll just get that up here. So auto reference camera is equal to runtime registry dot get context, and that's going to be std shared pointer of the camera 2D, and then we just send the camera in. Cool. Let's see what else. I think we should be good. All right, let's try running it again. All right, TilemapDisplay. No acceptable conversion. Yeah, that makes sense. You guys probably saw that one already. Let's run it again. Okay. So, where's my issue here? Output. So it has to do with that camera. Awesome. Very cool. All right, I just learned something that I didn't know. So let's go back real quick. So if you guys watched that fix here and you looked at the output in the, since we were forward declaring the camera here, I wasn't doing this before and I had this as default. So what it was doing, it was looking for a default deleter for the unique pointer for this camera, but it couldn't find it. And I'm not sure, I never knew that would be the case. Just making a default destructor in the CPP file, everything seems to be working. So that's good now. All right, let's see if we crash. Sorry, that went way off track, but that's okay. And we're gonna move this. Try again, see if we crash now. Scenes, Tilemap, load our scene. Cool, we knew that was gonna pause. Let's keep it going. Back to here, cool, no crash. Awesome. back here and grab our tile, and boom, we got some tiles created. Awesome. And they won't go over top of each other. We can prove this by grabbing a different one. Let's get this rock, and it shouldn't place on top because the layer is the same. But if you keep going like this, it should place them all in nicely. Cool, look at that. Now we still can't delete tiles, and there's a bunch of other stuff I want to do as well. We'll get to that. We're gonna eventually want to have the undo and redo commands and all of that stuff, but we'll get to that later on. Still lots of work to do in our editor here. We're creating tiles to the scene. Now, what I hate is we can't zoom in, and it's just in this one small place. And that's where I want, like, I don't want to be placing tiles outside of there. So eventually we'll get to that. But we need to adjust how we're drawing this to our Tilemap Editor display and what we're doing with our camera. So the first thing I want to tackle is actually changing how we're drawing this to the screen. So let's do that now. So we have our Tilemap display, and let's go to our draw function where we're actually drawing the display. And we're going to want to do the same checks that we did in the scene display so we can adjust our frame buffer. However, we're also going to want to adjust our camera size. That's not something we want to do in the scene. We want the scene to control the camera. So if you're running the scene, the game itself will control the camera. Where in the Tilemap Editor, that's not the case. I want the Tilemap Editor's camera to be controlled by the window size. And then we can go from there and we just adjust for world coordinates. Okay? So right here, before we update our tools, right here, let's actually check for window size change. And we can just say, let's actually just go to our scene because we've already done this. Let's go to our scene display, scene display, go to the draw function. And that is right, where are we checking? Right here. So let's take this, check for resize. I like that even better. Take that, copy that, bring that over to our Tilemap display. We can actually probably put this at the bottom as well. That's what we'll do. What's the worst that could happen? So let's put it down here right before end child. Paste that in, and let's just go like this. Cool. Awesome. So we just called it Framebuffer here, and it should be doing the same thing. But now we actually want to resize the camera. So we want to say MP Tilemap Cam and resize. Now we don't have this function yet, but it's going to take in the same stuff here. Paste. So now it's going to resize the camera for us if anything is changing. Okay, so let's go and do that now. Let's create this function. So let's go to our camera class. So that would be in our rendering camera.h. And we're going to have to add some new functionality here. We're going to add all the functionality that I want for the rest of the video. And we're going to do that now because we've already got this camera class open. Okay, so we're going to need a few new functions. I want to have that resize function, and we can put that up here. Let's put it right under here. Actually, right under the update function. Well, we want to have one for resetting the camera. So void reset the camera. Okay. And all this is going to do is reset it back to its start position. So say you're panning around and moving the camera around. This will just put it back to our 0, 0 position. And then we're going to want one more for void, and it's going to be resize. And this is going to take in our width. So int width and int height. Cool. We're going to need those as well. And now we're also going to need to put in our screen offset. We haven't been using this lately, but since we're going to be doing panning and zooming, I need to use this screen offset. So we're going to have some getters for this and setters. So we have our set position, set scale. We're going to want to do another one, and we'll do it here. And it's inline void. Actually, we just copy this whole function and just change the words. So instead of set position, this is going to be set screen offset, or set screen offset. Set screen offset, and this is new offset. Copy that, paste that in. Screen offset. You're also going to want to do an update there. Okay, and then let's do a getter for that. That's the same as this one. Get screen offset. Now right now we're just doing a copy, and that's fine. If we need to make changes later, we will. Cool. This can be const. It should be const. Okay. So let's create these functions. Cool. Let's go to them. So the reset one, all I want to do in this one is set the scale back to 1, set the position back to 0, screen offset back to 0, and also do a needs update. So let's go m scale is equal to 1.f, m position is equal to glm back to 0.f. Scale is our screen offset as well. Screen offset. Let's make this a bit bigger. And we want to make sure that it updates. So MB needs update is equal to true. Cool. All right, so the resizing of the camera function, all that's doing is setting the width and the height of the member variables. And then we're also going to need to reinitialize the camera. Okay, so that will redo our matrix. Okay, so let's do this here. All I want to do is go M width is equal to width. M height is equal to height. Then I'm going to want to make a function called initialize. Initialize. And we don't have this yet, so we're going to have to create this. So let's copy this. KO. And this can be a private function here. So let's create another private section. Oops. KO. KD. And this will just be void initialize. Cool. Let's create this. Now all the initialize function is going to do is the same stuff that's done in the constructor. So let's go to our constructor here and just take all this out. Cut. Paste it in our initialize. And then call initialize. So we want to call initialize here. Initialize. And then we already have the initialize in our resize function. Cool. So this could also be const. Let's add that in there. This can be const. Let's go back to our .h file and make sure we make those changes. Cool. So now that we have our stuff there and we should be resizing the camera, let's take a look. Let's see if it works. So let's go to our TilemapDisplay again. TilemapDisplay. Where is that? Right here, TilemapDisplay. And we should be calling the resize, and it should be resizing the camera for us if we end up changing the window size. Let's run this, see if it works as desired. We should also go through and fix any of these warnings that we have. So we got a fail. Window size redefinition. So let's get this here. Yeah, so I didn't need this because I was already using this. Run it. Okay, so we should be able to just load a scene. And I just want to see how this looks. So let's go to our tilemap scenes and then see how this is all black now. You don't see anything when we bring it here. Now it's the whole thing. Cool. All right. So now the whole thing is part of the camera. So if we bring it down, it changes the size of it. Bring it open, it changes the size of it. Cool. So it does distort it a little bit because we're changing the size of the, but that's okay. The background work should still do the same thing. Cool. So we know that it's changing our camera and it's now the whole size of this, and that's what I want. So now we want to actually add in the ability to pan and zoom inside of here when we create. So let's actually see what our tiles look like before we do anything else. Let's actually try. Let's run this real fast and go back to our tile set, pick a tile, and let's see how this looks. So this is all off now. So we're going to have to fix that. All of these things need to be fixed. So we shouldn't have that issue. See, the mouse and everything is way off. And it's already creating tiles. So yeah, that's way off. We don't want that. So we're going to have to fix that. Okay. Now, there's a reason why that is off. Well, there's a few reasons why that could be off. And it's because we need to adjust a few things. Let's go back to our camera. Let's see our camera update. Yeah. So we're not factoring in the offset here. We need to do that. So we need to go plus M screen offset. Dot X. And the same for the Y. That's one problem. And let's run. So let's load our scene in. Scenes. This is going to take a few, but we're going to get it. Play, tile set. Doesn't matter which one. So yeah, see, we're still off. So we're going to have to fix that. Yeah, see, every time we change, it's adjusting that as well. Okay. So let's add in when we load the scene that we're resetting our camera. Let's do that. See if that helps at all. Where's our load scene? Load, new scene. And right here, no, where's this being called? Right here. Let's say MP tilecam reset. Let's add that in as well. There we go. So that was my problem. I wasn't resetting the cam. Cool. That's what I want. Well, at least I think that's what I want. We'll see in a minute. Everything looks all right. Still looks a bit distorted. Yeah. That's fine. Let's see if our tile map works now. So if we go to tile set. Cool. So that's working again. So I had to reset my camera. Cool. All right, one step closer. Okay, so let's close this down. We're gonna want to now pan and zoom the camera. Now, I was thinking about doing the panning and the zooming inside of the camera class itself, but then I would have it needs to have an idea of what the mouse is. So I decided to leave that out, and the Tilemap display itself will control the panning and zooming of the camera. Okay, so let's go to our Tilemap display. Let's go to our .h file, so Control KO, bring us here. And right here, right under load new scene, let's have another one where we say void pan zoom cam. Pan and zoom camera. And this is just going to take in the mouse position. So const glm vec2 reference mouse pause. Cool. Let's make this function. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is check to see if the camera is valid. If not, we're just going to leave. So if not, mp tilemap cam, just leave because we need that. Now I'm going to want to get the mouse from the input manager. So auto reference mouse is equal to input manager. I don't know if we added that yet. Get mouse. So let's go up to the top, and I don't think we have it. So that is it. We'll just put these in here. Whoops. Right here. Let's say include. That's in core. Scripting input manager.h. And then we're also going to need the mouse. So include. And that's in windowing. Inputs, I believe. Mouse.h. Cool. And where's our mouse? Let's go mouse. Awesome. All right, so now that we have the mouse, we want to do a quick check to see if the middle button is pressed or the mouse wheel Y has moved. If none of that has happened, then we can just leave. We don't need to keep going in the function. So we can go if not mouse dot is button just pressed, and that's going to be Scion mouse middle. And is it pressed? If it's not pressed, and we want to see if the mouse get mouse wheel Y is equal to 0. Because if you remember, the mouse Y value can be -1, 1, or 0. So depending on the direction that you're scrolling. Okay, so we'll just return. Okay, so now we're going to need a start position that always holds. It's going to be like a delta position. So we want to go static GLM vec2, and this is going to be start position. And it can just start at 0.f for now. And now we want to get the screen offset. So we want to go auto screen offset is equal to np tilemapcam get screen offset. Then I'm going to have a couple Boolean values. So bool b offset changed. That can be false. And b scale changed. Not changes, changed. That can also be false. Because I only want to do something if my scale or my offset has changed. Okay. Then I want to say if mouse dot is button just pressed scion mouse middle. This is where I want to set my start position to the mouse position that's coming in. So start position is equal to mouse position. Okay, that's going to give us our starting point. So if you have, as you move with the mouse pressed, it's going to subtract from that starting point. Okay, so then I want to say if mouse dot is button pressed scion, not just pressed, is button pressed scion mouse middle. Then I want to add the position to my screen offset. So I'm going to go screen offset plus equals the mouse position, the current mouse position, minus, not mouse pause, minus the start position. Or you could say start mouse position. Then I want to say B offset is changed. Okay. All right, cool. So what's happening here is we're actually getting we're adding the screen position. So the start position is this is the screen coordinates that we're sending in. Well, that's where we're going to be sending in the screen coordinates. So now I'm going to want to get the position of the world coordinates right now. Because if we adjust the scale, our current world coordinates will also change. So we need to get that as well. So what we'll do here is we'll just say GLM vec2 current world pos. And that's going to be np tilemapcam screen chords to world, and that's just taking our mouse pause. We're going to need to hold on to that. And let's get the scale. So let's say float scale is equal to np tilemapcam get scale. Now I want to check to see if our mouse wheel is moving. If we're moving in a positive direction, we're going to add to our scale. If we're moving into a negative direction, we're going to subtract from the scale. So we say if mouse dot get mouse wheel is equal to 1, else, or we could probably just do that in a ternary. No, we'll just do it like this. We'll say else if is equal to -1. And then this one we're going to want to go scale plus equals 0.1 f or 2. We'll see what 0.1 looks like. Actually, let's just do 0.2. So we'll move it by 0.2. And we're going to say b scale changed is equal to true. And we're also going to want to change the offset here. It's because b offset changed will also be true, because your offset is going to change because of when we do the update of the scale, you're moving the scale of your camera. So your offset will also have to change. This is also going to be true, but this is going to be negative. Okay? Awesome. So what I would like to do is clamp my scale. Now, you can choose it to clamp it to whatever you want, but I want to clamp it to 1. I don't want to go lower than a scale of 1, and I want to keep it at a maximum, let's say 10 or 5. So we'll just do 10 first. So scale is equal to std clamp scale 1.f 10.f. Cool. Then I want to, if my scale has changed, now this is where I want to actually set the scale. So we go if b scale changed. Let's set our scale. mp tilemapcam set scale and send in our scale. Cool. So since our scale could have changed here, and what will happen here is this will also affect our offset. We need to actually get the world position again. Okay, just to ensure, then we want to say glm vec2 current world pos after scale, or you can just say after scale pos. Anything could have happened in between that would have adjusted our world position. So we'll just say after pos. Let's just say after pos is equal to mp tilemapcam screen chords to world. Send in our mouse pos again. Cool. So now that we made it here, now we want to adjust our screen offset based on the after position and the current position, because something could have happened. So our current world position, something could have happened in between that would have changed how it affects our offset. So we need to make sure that we add that in. So we want to go screen offset plus equals the after pos minus, we can say after move pos. That sounds even better. After move pos minus the current world pos. Okay? Then check to see if we actually made an offset change. Be offset changed. If we got here, we probably did. We probably don't need to do these checks, but that's okay. We'll do it anyway. Tilemapcam set screen offset and send in our screen offset. Awesome. Then I just want to set my start position to the mouse position. Awesome. That should do it for us. So now we need to add this in. Now we should probably separate these two into two different ones, but we're just going to keep it all in one for now. So what's happening here is we're taking our tilemap camera. We're checking to see if it's valid. If it's not valid, we leave. We're grabbing our mouse from the input manager, checking to see if the mouse middle button is pressed or just pressed or wheel. If it's not doing any of these, we just leave. We're grabbing the start position. Now this is static, so it maintains that position. And while we could make this into a member variable, I'm just going to leave it static for now. We want to grab the screen offset from the tilemap camera. We have these two flags. Then we have our, which these should automatically be set anyway. You probably don't have to do that. But if the scale's not changed, then. So what we're doing is we're setting our start position to the sent in mouse position and holding on to it. Then we want, because it's only going to run this once. This is our just pressed. So it's only going to run that once. And then it's going to come back through another loop, and it's going to see, is it button pressed? And then it'll start making, that's when we need to make the change for the new mouse position minus the start position. So this is an offset, a delta position. And we know our offset changed here. Okay. And then we want to go through, and first thing I want to get now is the current mouse position that's being sent in. I want to get the world pos. Okay. And then I want to get the scale. And then this is where we're adjusting our scale with the mouse wheel. And then we want to clamp our scale here. And if our scale was changed, we're going to want to set our camera scale. If we change anything along the way here, remember this might not do anything if it's just this, because we're not changing the offset here. There's no offset changed here. So if it didn't move on the first time or it wasn't fast enough, the second time it comes in, it's not going to go in here. So it's going to go in here, and there's going to be a dx or a dy, a delta change, right, of the position. And then once it gets here, so then we actually want to get the screen coordinates again here, because there could be something changed in between. Subtract them from the 2, and this is where we set our screen offset, okay? Then we want to just set the start position to the current mouse position. All right, so let's call this to make sure that it works. And we will do this in our update function. So where's our update function? Right here. I'm going to want to do this right here. Pan camera. And I'm going to want to send in the active tool. Get mouse screen chords. All right. And I think that should work. Let's run it. Nope. Okay, so GLM. Yeah, because it doesn't know what GLM is. So here, let's include GLM, glm.hpp. Let's run it. All right. So let's hope this works. Move this down here. Scenes, default scene. Let's put it to our Tilemap Editor. Tilemap Editor. And let's grab it. And it's not doing anything. Oh, the zoom works, but my panning is not working. So the zoom is working. Let's see why. Let's open this up. Go to this function. And mouse is not. Let's see if it stops there or here. Go back in. It does. Cool. Oh, I'm a retard. You guys probably saw that too. That has to be true here. Cool. Easier done. Run it again. Oh, stop debugging. Run it again. All right, so assets, scenes, move this to here. Oh, Tilemap Editor, drag it in, grab it, and we can move it. Awesome. Scaling works, panning works. Now we have to make sure that drawing the tiles is also going to work. So let's move to load the scene, Tilemap Editor, tile set, hill tiles, and looks like it's working. Beautiful. Move it over here. So we got a problem here. See how I'm still drawing over here? If I click, so let's bring this down over here. If I click here, bloop, it's still drawing. Oh, sorry. So I come over here. If I go click here, it's drawing through the scene. We don't want that, right? We don't want any of this. We don't want to draw over here either. So we have to add in our bounds now. We don't want to be drawing outside of our bounds. So we need to fix that bounds thing. And we also don't want to be drawing if we're not on that window. So if I come down here, right, and I just start clicking around or change this and click over here, it shouldn't be drawing these in because we're not on that. And if I see how my zooming is also, I'm trying to scroll the tile set, and the tile set, like, let's go like this so you can, so we're also zooming in and out. Well, we shouldn't be zooming if we're not over top of this. So we need to add that in. So let's close this one. Okay, so let's go into our tile tool and add that in. So we can go to tools, and that'll be a tile tool because we're not going to put in the abstract tool because, well, maybe we should put in the abstract tool, but we'll put in the tile. No, let's just put in the abstract tool. It's fine. And right here, instead of not just out of bounds, I want to say MB over tilemap. Okay. Let's say over tilemap window. Cool. And we're going to want to do some setters for this. Down here, let's copy this down, change this to set over tilemap window. And is over tile map window. Now this one is a little bit different. We're going to send in a bool b over window. Awesome. So this will just let us know if we're over, which window we're over. Eventually we'll have an enum that will switch to tell us what window we're over, but we only have the Tilemap tool now. We'll have other tools later on. So right now, just this bool will do fine. Okay, so let's go back into our TilemapDisplay, and right in our draw function, where we're calling right here, we can set to see if we're over the window. So p active tool set over tilemap window, and that's just IM GUI is window hovered. Now we can also have it if the window is focused. So you want to have it not just hovered, you want to have it as a focus window. You're actually doing work in the window. But right now I only care if I'm hovering the window. We could change that later if we don't like how that works. Okay. And we'll go down here, and I don't want to do any of this as stuff. We have to have an active tool, and p active tool is over tilemap window. And we're not dragging something. Cool. So don't do any of this stuff unless we're over top of the tilemap window. Okay. Now that should help us with that. So let's run it. But it's still not going to help us with the out of bounds. So we're going to have to fix that, and we might as well do that now. This video is taking a while. I apologize, but it should all be worth it in the long run. So scenes, Tilemap Editor, drag that in. Drag and zoom. So if I go to run this, and let's pick the other tile set this time because it's way bigger. So BG Forest, cool. So we're able to move around. If I click, so up here, so let's go, if I'm clicking in here, it didn't create the tile. Great, but we still create stuff over here and we don't want to. We want it to stay on the canvas, hence the point of the canvas anyway. So let's actually figure that out. All right, and that's in our abstract tool. We have a check out of bounds. And we didn't end up filling this out because I don't like the way that I do it. Like the way I have works, but I'm probably not doing it the way that I like. But let's see. So what we need for out of bounds, we need to check to see if our window pause, if we're within the canvas itself. And that has to take in the world coordinates. It also has to take in the screen coordinates. Like I don't want to do anything if I'm outside the window size. Say we zoom in a lot and we don't see the whole canvas, but we go outside of the window. We don't want to do anything there either. Like take account for that. We also have to have the bounds width, bounds height, and that's based on our canvas size. Hence why we're sending in our canvas. Now this could be const here because we're not changing the canvas. We're just checking. So let's change this to const. Okay. That shouldn't hurt anything. Cool. All right. So let's get rid of this. And the first thing I want to do is just get a bounds width and bounds height. Now, I'm taking the full width minus the width of a tile. Okay. So if you're beyond that, or we can go minus half the width of a tile. If you go beyond that, I don't want it to place a tile. Okay. So auto. Let's say bounds width. That's the canvas dot width minus the canvas dot tile width times 0.5 f. And we can just put this in brackets. Now we shouldn't have to because it's doing bed mass, but we'll just do it anyway. Let's copy this down, change this to height. Height, bed mass, or order of operations. I'm not sure what it's called in other countries, but it's bed mass here. Height, cool. All right, so now I need to check to see if my window pause is greater or is less than equal to my GUI cursor chords. So if m window pause dot x Actually, I could probably, yeah, no, I need to do it this way. It's less than or equal to m GUI cursor chords dot x, and we can probably copy this line down, remove that, and it's going to be the mouse pos plus the window size dot x is greater than the mouse dot x. And we need to do the same for y. Copy this down, copy both lines. Whoops. Y. 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 Cool. Now I want to see if my mouse screen chords is greater than 0. Well, we might not need the mouse screen chords. Let's just do the world chords. So m mouse world chords dot x is less than or equal to bounds width, not height, width, and y for bounds height so we want to be within the bounds. Okay, then we also want to take these again and this is for x and y, but we want to be greater or equal to 0. Greater, equal to 0. I think that should work for us. And that means we're not out of bounds. So MB out of bounds is equal to false. Cool. And then else MB out of bounds is equal to true. So if none of this is correct, then we're out of bounds. All right. So let's try to run this and see if that works the way we want. Let's actually put this in brackets because we may want to do some logging. All right, and let's run it. All right, so let's get our scene going. Cool. So, and we go to our scene, run it. We're gonna have to fix that soon as well. Tile set. And we're outside, but it's not doing anything on the 0 here. Like, right, I'm still able to, but I'm clicking outside of the window, and I don't want that. We need to fix that right here. We're still, so it looks like we're still doing the out of bounds. I must not be calling is out of bounds. Let's check. So, check out of bounds. Check out of bounds is not being called. Yeah, it is. It's getting called here. Let's go in. Cool. So we're out of bounds, which is true. Good. Let's see. Hey, oh. Are we calling this anywhere? Yeah, so there's the issue here is we got all these things. We're supposed to be doing checks instead of our create function. Okay, so we're doing this here. We're checking to see if we're out of bounds. It shouldn't even be drawing if we go out of bounds. All right, so we're gonna have to fix something there. We're missing something, I mean. So let's go to our create function as well. So create right here. We're not doing any checks here. And we're going to want to adjust that. We don't want to have, so we want to go if out of bounds or not is activated or not sprite valid. And or this one is the registry. I want to make sure our registry is valid. So if not MP registry, we should do a function for that. We're just going to want to return. Cool. If we're out of bounds, it shouldn't be creating tiles. So let's stop this. But we shouldn't even be drawing the tile if we're out of bounds. So there's still something wrong that I have to fix. And let's go scenes, bring this down, bring that in, play, get a tile set, hill tiles. So yeah, we shouldn't even be drawing over there, but if I go over here, cool, we're not drawing outside, but we're drawing on the inside now. Oh, we can draw on the outside there. So if we go quickly enough, we can draw on the outside. So we're gonna have to fix that as well. But it's getting better, and that's what matters the most. Oh, and we're culling out a lot of stuff. See, those are being culled out when we do the zoom. See this? That's all getting culled out. Now, we should be doing, like, you can't see that we're placing tiles here. We shouldn't be culling all those out. So we're gonna have to fix that. Must be how we're rendering. So yeah, we're not culling, we're culling things out. We're gonna have to fix that. Okay. So let's close this. We're missing something else. All right, so let's go back to our check out of bounds function and add some more stuff in, because I clearly made a mistake there. So X is less than or equal to cursor, and window pause plus window size is greater. Window world chords less than bounds width. It's greater than 0. Greater than 0. All right. So it looks like we need the screen chords as well. So let's go mouse screen chords dot x is greater than 0.f, and mouse screen chords dot y is greater than 0.f, and mouse screen chords dot x is less than the window size dot x, and do the same for y. Control KD. I think that should work for us. World chords. Let's run it. Cool. All right, so we shouldn't even be drawing in there. But yeah, you see how it would still allow us to go there if we go fast enough? Yeah. We'll fix that later, but we need to stop even drawing when I'm outside here. We must be clamping our world position. That's the issue. So we're clamping it to 0. We need to not do that. And I believe that's done in the tile tool in the examine mouse position. So let's go to the tile tool. And yeah, right here. Because we're only setting it if the mouse world position is greater than or equal to 0. So this is clamping it. We're gonna have to make some changes here. What I'm gonna do, let's change this mouse grid. That's gonna be so mouse world pos dot x divided by mouse rect dot x times transform dot scale dot x, and then times camera scale. Copy that line down, change these to y. Y, y. Cool. So basically, we're just doing this here, right here, and we can get rid of this totally. Cool. So we're not even checking now if it's past 0. And then I want to, okay, so we're doing this exact same thing twice. This, so we can change that. We can go auto, scaled, grid to cam x is equal to std floor mouse grid dot x divided by camera scale. Copy that down. This could be y. Y. Then we can say this here can all come out. And we can use scaled grid to cam x. And copy that. Get rid of this. Y. And then this can just be cool. I think that should handle it. And let's run it. Assets, scenes. Drag that in. Doesn't matter which scene. Run the scene. Let's get our tile set. Awesome. Now we're clicking outside. It's not drawing. Scrolling. Scroll here. It's not doing it. So if I click here, yeah, it didn't create it. Now if I go fast enough, I could probably get it to happen outside. Oh no, it's staying in. I'm just holding the button trying to get it to, yeah, so it happens outside if you go fast enough. But we'll deal with that later. Like, I think we're doing good enough now. So now we gotta just quickly deal with this culling issue. Why I'm culling all the tiles the more I zoom. See, I should still see that because it's still in our view. So we need to fix that. We're culling that somewhere. So let's go to our render system because that's where it's probably being done. Let's go to rendersystem.cpp, rendersystem.cpp, and yeah, it's the entity in view. So we're culling it out. So there's a problem in this function that I might not be taking account of. So entity in view. Okay, so for now, we're just going to comment that out. I know that's the issue, but this video has gone on long enough. Let's go over that later. Let's just run it and see if that's working. Now, this will affect how we run the game, so we won't be culling anything out that's outside of the view. But that's definitely going to be our issue, and we're going to have to look into that. So now, let's run it. Get our scenes. Tilemap Editor, drag that in, play, tile set, hill tiles. So let's just draw a whole bunch down here. And yeah, so it's not culling it out anymore. We see everything, but we're gonna have to figure out that issue of why our entity in view is causing us to cull everything out now. Too early. It's causing it to call it out before, while it's still in the view. And we'll go over that in the next video. I still have to figure out why it's doing it myself. So, all right. So just a little edit to the video. So this is actually, I believe this was an easy fix. So the entity in view, we also have to take into effect the camera offset. So when we first created this, we weren't moving the we weren't panning the camera around. We were moving the camera position, but we were never changing the offset. So we never took that into account. This will just be 0 if it never changes. So when you're just running the scene, this should just be 0. However, the offset does change when we're using the Tilemap Editor. So all we want to do is subtract that from our position, and then it should work. Make sure that we're calling it in the... You want to make sure that you uncomment that in the entity in view and make sure this works. So let's make sure it works. So now, just get it going again. Bring this down here. And Tilemap Editor, drag this in. Cool. Scene, run it. And here, oh, not that one, it's such a light color. Here, cool. And let's just draw a bunch as we go down. Look, they're not culling out, and I can still see everything, but we are culling stuff out. It should cull out as it comes out of view. Let's just make this like size of the full screen almost. Let's see how it looks. So yeah, as we're culling things out, so we should be culling out a lot of things. So let's go here and let's go open this up. We shouldn't be culling anything out right now. It should all be drawn right now. So let's open up this here and see if our continue ever gets called. And it's not, because we can still see everything. So as we come closer, 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 bang. Awesome. So it culled out the things that are outside of our view. That's exactly what we wanted to do. So it's more efficient and it's helping us out. So we're not doing any of these draw calls to stuff that we can't see. All right. But this is just a little fix. So the entity in view is now fixed. It was actually quite simple. I just had to set our camera offset here. And we're also going to have to, so now that we're actually able to create the tile sets, oh, let's see something cool as well. So if we go to, we've only been running on the default scene. If I drag my new scene, it should, those should all be gone. Yeah, because it's based on the new scene. So if I come here and I grab my, just this here, we'll just make this cool. We got a bunch of signs. If I drag the default scene back in, it should have the stuff that we already had. So let's drag that in. There we go. So now we're able to change the scenes and it's working accordingly. Awesome. So each scene has its own tiles. That's working now. We're able to zoom in. We're able to pan it around as needed. We can zoom in up to 10. So you can set it up however you want. Very nice, very nice. That's it for this episode. Also, I want to, right now, we can't save this. So we'd have to recreate it each time. So we don't really care about this right now. Like, we need to be able to save and load. But before we could save and load, we need to actually start having a way to open up a file manager or file dialog so we can actually save to a file. Now we could do some hard coding stuff where it saves it that way. However, I believe it's time to actually start opening up the file dialogs and being able to save that way. So we're going to start getting into file dialogs. If you have any questions or concerns, please leave a comment below. Other than that, that's it for this video. Please like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Okay, take it easy.